Hey
Doing
guys, I'm the fourth member of Mod Hoff, as you can tell by my
this
mustache.
member.
But
Yeah, fourth member.
don't need to introduce myself, guys. If you want to introduce yourselves,
We'll start from
This side.
left to right.
Hi there. My name is Corbin. I'm the drummer.
I'm Ben. I play bass and I sing the music and write it too sometimes.
I'm Elijah. I play guitar and I produce.
so you're all in costume, or not costume. This is like your uniform.
Yeah,
I guess
this is
This is our regular wear.
we're actually all naked right now. You
Yeah.
can't
This
go.
is just
This is
what's
our
on our body.
This is like our
it's rated R. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, straight up.
Where did the outfits come from? Why?
So I don't know. I kind of wanted to like make it almost easier to like brand, if that made sense. Like if people saw like a turtleneck and a mustache, I wanted them to think of Mod Hoff. And I was actually at a Wise Blood concert with my girlfriend, and they were all wearing like the same outfits and stuff, and I just really that like kind of inspired me to be like, that's just what I want to do and make it more of a show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It always emphasizes the whole marketing aspect when you can like Orville Peck does his like costume all the time, and then there's that even back to what's that band? I always forget the name, but they all wear the cones and like
Devo.
the Devo, yeah. So it's like I feel like we fit in with a particular kind of
there.
Yeah, most
you know,
definitely.
it's like Mod Hoff, Devo.
Yeah,
we're like on the same
You're also
level.
kind of like sleep token group because like you got your own little. Except we know who you are, so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not anonymous like the Gorillas or whatever, but
Yeah.
but we are in costume. So
Awesome. Okay. And I joined with the mustache. So
You
guys,
did.
also
That's
really
commitment right there.
biased because I joined them to go play tambourine. And that's just gonna be my new job. So sorry.
We pay $1 million, so
a gig.
Yeah, a gig.
Yeah,
Every
so.
gig.
So y'all are kind of in like the local East Texas. I know you're not really from East Texas, but I grew up in Canton, and there's like nothing there. You have to go to Tyler. And even in Tyler, there's still very, very little. It's very big, but not a lot going on.
Yeah.
And this past summer/fall, I found it at the Green Room when I was kind of looking for bands to find, and I found you guys through that. Where did the kind of community come from? Because it's huge. I went to the last show for Cloverfield, and there's so many kids there. Like, are y'all just dying to have a venue and you're putting it together? Like, what's the?
So I'm originally from like Longview area.
Okay.
Actually, me and Corbin kind of grew up together. We grew up in the same school and whatnot. And so but I after my freshman year of high school, I moved to the Dallas area and started playing music and getting into it. And I was actually I was playing with another band, and we booked the Green Room. And I thought it was going to be a pretty like, can I swear?
You can.
Okay.
Fuck.
That allowed, man.
Loud.
I thought it was gonna be like a pretty dog shit show because it's like Tyler, like what the fuck is in Tyler? And so I'm like, this is gonna be awful. And then it ended up being like one of our best shows that we've had. And I think the Green Room kind of cultivates a like unrepresented population of teenagers that have nothing to do. And that's the beauty in that community, is that it is just like a community. Like a lot of people, like you can just be any size band and people will show up. It's where people congregate. And so I just think it's a super great scene, and also everyone is just so kind and accepting within that scene that it's really easy to create what you want and be supported, I suppose.
I agree, because it coming from like where I've been in the Dallas area, not that that's not there. It is, but it's a little harder to find.
It is.
When I went to that show, and I met you there actually finally in person, then everyone was so kind, so easy to talk to, and like it kind of felt like I knew everybody a little bit. Like even the owner of the Green Room, like he was very like communicative and like wanted to talk, and
he's
it
super
was
nice.
so great. And they're like so supportive of y'all. I've noticed like all they could have just saw you and now they're like already obsessed with your band.
Mhm.
I've
Yeah.
never seen so many small bands already have merch that actually sold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that was the biggest surprise our first show is like I put a lot of time and effort into the merch, designing it and printing them and because I wanted it to be DIY. I wanted to put effort into it. And I was really happy with the reception of it. I was shocked to like see my Venmo notifications after we got off the stage and see like a good amount of t-shirts moved. And I'm like, damn, like that's great. And it's cool to see people not only show up to our next show there wearing their t-shirts, but also people like if I went to other green room shows, like seeing them wear our t-shirts at other shows, like seeing that it's not only like in the closet for whenever they come to a Mod Hoff show, it's just part of their wardrobe.
Mhm.
Right. So is that kind of reflected in Denton for you guys? Like when I know y'all play a lot there. Is that same kind of energy there too?
It's kind of it is slightly different because the community is kind of a lot of there's like just the way I see there's like kind of an inner circle of bands, and if you're not really in that sphere, it's hard to like kind of have that same community. Like you said, like when it exists in Dallas, the same community as the green room, but it's harder to find.
Yeah.
It's more difficult to enter.
I think too, just like being in the Denton scene for a while, I've been in other bands and like you were just coming from like the era of the 90s when live music was like an event, something that people would do is just go out and see bands, like even if they didn't know them or did know them. And so there was a lot of venues, and in the last 20 years or so, unfortunately, a lot of those venues have closed. And so like Tyler is kind of no music scene building something ground up, and so it has this central venue. Denton sort of had a music scene and is kind of like fallen a little bit or not collapsed, but like it's taken a bit of a dip. And so now you have the remaining bands kind of like spread out across the remaining venues, and there are a few. But I think Denton is a place that's kind of rebuilding its scene still, and there's places like Rubber Gloves and like Harvest House even and Andy's. There's a few venues that are like really trying to give those small bands a platform, but like part of it's just like venues have to make money and there's more competition in Denton, so it's just like it's harder to break in sometimes starting
Right.
out in those places, unless you already know people and you say, yeah, hey, can we hop on a show with you guys or whatever.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, hey, I think that might start happening for you a lot more because, speaking of the 90s, so I listened to That So Punk because I was so lucky and somebody sent it to me in my email. And it's so good. So
Thank you.
it kind of takes me back to music that you hear when you're watching like old American Pie and like
Oh.
late
Yeah.
2000s, like late
Yeah.
90s music. Was that kind of the inspo? Like what were we thinking when this was made?
Um, I would say in some non-direct fashion that was the inspo. I mean, I think writing the song, that one specifically, basically the process that had led up to that was like me and Elijah like working together, like kind of in a producer musician aspect before there even really was a band formed. And
A love affair.
yeah,
A producer musician love affair.
yeah, you could call it that. Emphasis on the love, but
Yeah.
but I think like what I intended with the song was it actually like came to me very easily, if that makes sense. Like all the other songs I really like sat down and like tried to hammer out and like try to like kind of form my vision and whatnot. But That's So Punk was the only one where it was like, okay, like I have this riff, I have this melody, like let's like put it together. And so I think sonically too is I draw a lot of inspiration from, like the Strokes and like Cage the Elephant, but also like, Car Seat Headrest and more like on the indie like college rock side of stuff. And so I just like there's a lot of like aspects I love from all those bands that I just kind of wanted to like bring into one, if that makes sense. Like I just kind of wanted to pull what I like from Cage and pull what I like from Car Seat Headrest and pull whatever and just kind of like make something that I think is just like solid as shit.
I think I did that for sure. That's how most people start though, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you grab a little bit of all your favorite stuff and put it together, and boom, you've kind of found your style.
Yeah.
And you're self-produced, which is even crazier. So are you producing it?
I'm producing it with him.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, for me, the sound, like I took a lot of strokes and a lot of the hives, and a little bit of blur too. There's definitely touches of that 90s thing. You know, some of the amps that we used and some of the guitars that we used, and I think just the approach to like mixing. There's definitely like an explosiveness to the rock records in the 90s and the early 2000s that I really like, where it's like there's an authenticity in those records. It's like it's very easy to over process things now, or like over tune, and like that was for me a big part of like not doing that, just capturing the energy of like his song, because like he has a ton of just everyone I showed to is like, man, that's just fun. And I was like, okay,
Yes.
if it's that, like I did my job, because like that's his thing, you know, like I play guitar in a lot of my records, or anything that I produce, I end up playing on. But like for this, I didn't want to play anything that I didn't have to, because like I felt like, you know, this needed to be about kind of the young DIY punk sound, but like then I could be like, you know, I'm the old 25-year-old, and I'm like,
Me too.
but I could come in and be like, all right, cool. So now we're gonna take that and like, well, you know, maybe round out the edges, or like figure out the places to have it fit certain sounds or whatever. But like, yeah, it is kind of a hodgepodge of a bunch of different stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I think to expand on the explosiveness part, I think that's one thing that I love about music and I love about live music is like kind of that like energy transfer almost of like, you know, you're listening to a song and you can just like feel it. Like you want to do something, you want to move. And like, that's just something as like a band and as an artist, like we can only really like hope to achieve, you know, and that's just the end goal. So, I hope people like the single, man.
I don't think y'all given us a choice as to not want to dance. Because like I'm listening to it and I'm kind of one of those people who I not to be like, oh, I get a lot of music, but I get a lot of music here recently.
Yeah,
It's become almost a job in a way. So like I'll put it on the first go around, I'll set it in the corner, and I'll just do a first once over while doing something. And I stopped and I was just kind of like, I noticed I was like doing this little thing. I was like, okay. Okay. These like East Texas kids kind of got it going on. And so I listened to it again. People are gonna love this. They're gonna want to dance. So y'all did a fantastic job writing and producing. Y'all got it going. So how did we get into music? How did each one of y'all kind of like even break into this?
Should we start left to righting him?
Yeah. Right.
Oh.
So we're talking about just like in life, or just like for Mod House specifically?
No, like in life to Mod House.
Yeah. Wow, this is so profound. I'm a fourth generation drummer. I've just always been a drummer. That's really the only thing I've ever been exposed to, and I've recently started picking up other instruments and whatnot because I want to be a little bit more diverse in my palette. But yeah, no, I've drummed my whole life, you know, and I started kind of taking it a little bit more seriously as I got more into high school and, you know, developed a music taste and wanted a style and wanted to interpret different things into my music. And it just opened up a lot of different, you know, writing capabilities as well, just learning more and more. But yeah, I've just always been around music my whole life. But yeah.
You have a favorite band that kind of like really pushes you? I know that's such a loaded question.
I know. No, it's not even that. It's like I'm all over the place right now. I could not even, I could tell you like by genre, but I couldn't even tell you like holistically my favorite band right now. But like all time, I've just always loved Mac DeMarco. I can stand by that and you know, definitively be like I'm a Mac head, you know. I've always been a Mac head.
Mac type beat.
Yeah, Mac type beat. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my safe answer, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was not super into music when I was younger, and then I heard Red Hot Chili Peppers for the first time, like Flea, and that was really the first time I heard the bass. And a lot of bass players are like start as guitarists and they get demoted. Like no
one wants to play.
Yeah,
bass.
there's two guitarists in a band and the worst one becomes a bass player. But I really just liked the sound of bass. That was my that was my entry point into playing music. And I bought a bass whenever I lived in East Texas, and learned Seven Nation Army, but never really got passionate about it. And then I moved, and that was just a super formative time for me. And so I was just kind of in this new place completely alone, and all I had was my instrument. And that was like a super large period of musical growth for me, because it was just like all I could do was listen to music or play music. So it was like that's all I did. And I consumed a lot of music, and I played a lot of music. And then just going through high school, like kept playing. I was in school rock for a little bit. And then
School rock.
hell yeah.
Right.
And then
Jack Black.
That's where my mind went to.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
Not that one.
yeah, not quite. But yeah, and then I joined the other band that I'm in, Alex.All.Access, and that's been the biggest learning experience for me. And then just wanted to, literally the first time I approached Elijah about maybe starting a project or recording a song was like, hey, I have this song and I just want to see if I can make one. Like it was like I just want to see if I can even do it. And then it kind of has slowly formed into Maude Hoff and kind of established what we are today.
Okay. All right, you're up.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of like Corbin, so I have a long line of musicians in my family. My dad specifically is a really big influence on me musically. He's a record producer and an incredible bass player. So it's kind of one of those things where it's like just kind of grew up with a recording studio in the house, a ton of instruments around the house. I think it was kind of unavoidable that I was going to start playing. I think it was even one of those things where my parents were like, I hope he doesn't start playing music and want to do that.
Right.
and it was like, no, I'm going to do that. So yeah, I started playing on drums. Actually, it was like my first instrument. I started maybe when I was like 10 or 11. I was thinking about that the other day, and kind of just fell in love with that early. Did that through middle school and high school. I did the jazz band thing. I was drum captain, played snare drum and drum line. And then kind of about halfway through high school, I just got tired of having 5 notes around the kit. You know what I mean? It was like there was a real limit to just the tonal like exploration that you could actually do on the drums. It's just like it was just boring after a while. And so, I still practice for school, but I basically just started writing songs on guitar from there. And then my band kind of started. I have another band called The Shortlist that's kind of a local band. And we sort of, I just figured out how to make records through that, really. I mean, I did the first couple with my dad, and we just made records, and I learned what double tracking a guitar sounded like, and what different microphones sounded like, and what a preamp was, and all these different things. And I kind of started to fall more into audio engineering after that. And I started working at this studio called Panhandle, which is kind of right in Denton. It's right off the square. And so, yeah, it's kind of been there the last couple of years, and just playing in country bands and church and Alex.All.Access and this Maude Hoff. So kind of like, my goal is, basically to hit every genre within a 7-day period.
Yeah.
So
Okay. Check off all the boxes.
yeah. So yeah, most of my time now is kind of just spent either playing guitar and then drums. It's kind of guitar producing and then sort of playing drums when I need to. But yeah.
Okay. So where the heck did Maude Hoff come from, by the way? What is that? What is
A lot of speculation, a lot of
yeah.
No, I'm gonna keep it a buck, man. I used to my brother's senior year, brother didn't have his driver's license. So I drove him to school in the morning, and I took a little gap year from education, and so I was just out and I was just sleeping in every day. And so I had to wake up at like 7 to go take him to school. And in that space between like me driving him to school, driving back, and like falling back asleep, I was just not awake. Like I was just not in my like right mind, if that makes sense, which maybe I shouldn't have been on the road, but
he could drive though.
But I could drive. Yeah. Give me those fucking keys. But like I was on the way home, and weirdly enough, like during that time, I just like was like I was kind of like free from thinking how I think like every single day, 24/7. It was just kind of different. And so I was able to just kind of like just make up random shit and just like I think I was literally just playing a game with myself and being like, what's the like weirdest like name combination I can make right now? And Maude Hoff like became like that was one of them. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna write this down. Like it was just I was writing a bunch of just weird names. I can't even think of any other ones.
Yeah, I was trying to remember what the other like band name options were.
There, I have the list somewhere. But whenever Mod Hoff formed and I was trying to like kind of build it up, I somehow stumbled upon my little notes app and when I was compiling the band names, and weirdly enough, like I because I went around to like all the people in my life and was like, pick like top 3 on this list, just curiosity. And more people chose Maude Hoff than I expected. So that's kind of how like I came across it. I think I don't even necessarily know if I made it up. It just kind of fell upon my lap.
I figured somebody was like German because like so my family's German, and so I'm reading it as like, okay, someone has some kind of German lineage, maybe like they're German, but then I met you and I was like, he's definitely not German, so I don't know where this is coming from.
Yeah,
I have a random name like that though that I generated that I didn't know that was shared with the public until a couple weeks ago. So my friend Bailey.
Okay.
I know. Yes, we love her. She's a fucking go. I forgot. Yeah, she's interviewed you before with all of us.
Yeah.
So way back when iTunes just kind of let kids buy things without having a credit card on file, and so you get into debt with like your iCloud email. Well, I made a new one, and I made a new email for it, and I was like, it'd be so funny. I'm not tall, so I'll be tall. I don't consider myself hot, so I'll put hot, and then I'm ginger. It's kind of funny. So it's like, I'll make my email Tall Hot Ginger. And that's what it made my name on my iCloud.
Amen.
Didn't know that.
Now you're just
I am sharing my ETA with people. Very important people sometimes.
Yeah.
And it doesn't know your contact name is sharing information, apparently. It says your iCloud name. So she sends a screenshot.
My iCloud is actually named Tall Hot Ginger too.
Yeah, mine is as well.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I
was wondering.
It's weird that we all have that same issue.
So whoever's watching, if you're getting in the music industry, unless you want to have an inside joke with everybody you know, maybe change your iCloud email to like your actual name.
I think that is the one side effect to giving 13-year-olds access to the internet that we don't talk about.
It's the only one.
Only issue with it.
No, everything else is kind of discussed or whatever. But this is like my platform as president is just to remove the ability to give a 13-year-old the option to pick their own username, because we all just you think, oh, this is so cool. Like this, I'm doing the coolest or funniest thing that any person has ever done.
Yeah.
And in 15 years, it will still be this funny and this cool. And I
blame Pop Tropica 100%.
Yeah.
I blame Pop Tropica for giving weird names.
Yeah.
I think that's what started it all for us, to be quite honest.
I would debate that what's even worse than a 13-year-old choosing their own name is not letting them change it after they make it.
Yeah, see,
that's like feels like they're really rubbing it in.
When I was a kid and I made the name Texas Warlord 420 or whatever,
which is so cool.
That's so cool.
That's actually
and then I just can't change it for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And I just have to sit with that.
I got lucky. Mine was Drum Player 98, which is not great, but it's not. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh sure, okay. We see the pieces here.
Yeah. My Snapchat is still Dank Drummer Boy.
Ooh,
I don't even use it
yeah.
anymore. Boy.
Mine.
Oh yeah.
Alexia sings. I don't even sing, y'all. I don't even sing. I don't know where that came from.
Is it like
It's
that was
just
like an
that.
aspiration?
Yeah,
It's just like maybe one day.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, just like
I mean, I did do that thing that girls did a lot back in the day where you just lip sync songs all like dramatically.
Sure.
So like I lip synced. So
you and me both, girl.
I used to rewrite the lyrics to One Direction songs and sing them to myself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would kind of do that too. Maybe like song parodies or like yeah.
I wrote One Direction fan fiction on an Instagram account, and it's still up. It's so
Oh, man. Yeah, you
Your
gotta
legacy,
take that down.
your legacy is still with us.
Yeah.
That one, that's the other side effect we don't talk about.
Yeah.
13-year-olds on the internet.
Fanfic. Yeah.
That's my
when y'all starting bands, you're like, one of these could take off. Did y'all start like clearing out y'all shit? Like your old cringy stuff that you could?
You know what? I have done one sweep of my 5th grade year of Facebook, which I felt was my most menacing. I just posting random things, like I don't even know. I just stuff that wasn't funny at all, or like not understand, like really feeling like everyone on the internet needed to know what I was doing at all times.
Yeah.
And so I just I did clear a lot of that. Now it's mostly just like people wishing me happy birthday and stuff like that. But so I've done one. It's probably about time, it's probably about time for another
Go back.
another cleanup.
Yeah.
I had to post in September because I'm starting to do that because I'm starting to gain traction. I was like, I should probably start cleaning this shit up. Tell me why. I literally just posted 9/11 semicolon like parentheses. It's just 9/11 sad face. Nothing else. No other context.
Madam President spoke her piece.
Yeah.
9/11.
No, dude.
No.
Come on.
So
Why'd they do it?
9/11, stop it.
9/11.
Stop it.
Don't you come back.
Don't.
I'm mad.
You took a stand.
Yeah.
It's
That was a stand.
If you had posted that before 2001,
Nothing would have happened.
Oh my
nothing
God.
would have happened.
I'm photoshopping that. I saw a prophecy.
Or she would be
Yes.
in federal prison.
Yeah,
She one of the two.
They'd be like, how?
What a no-fly list.
She would not be with us today.
Well, I also had a love for bands like Blow on the Dance Floor that we just don't talk about anymore,
Yeah.
It was a very strange time. Well, if you haven't fully swept your stuff, I'd do a quick little cleanup of that.
I don't think I did any 9/11 stuff.
No,
Yeah.
that was a youth thing.
That's me.
Yeah.
Damn.
I don't think I ever.
Yeah.
I don't think that crossed my mind too much.
Yeah.
So it should
I
be
was
okay.
I was really sad about it apparently in
Yeah,
2011.
I bummed out.
It's a national
sad
tragedy.
thing.
That's not really problematic. I mean,
Yeah.
It's just-
I mean, it pissed me
It's
off.
not
when I
like-
found out about
It's
it.
not
Yeah.
like 9/11 : smiley
Smiley
face.
face.
Smiley face.
Wait, you're right.
that would be a
I'm
real.
sad about it.
The correct option.
Yeah,
you'd have-
50% chance
It was
he had.
50-50.
So.
You'd have to make a really, impassioned speech. I didn't understand what smiley faces were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought
Guys, I'm coming to you.
I was.
I'm canceled. I'm
so sorry.
I'm so sorry.
gonna be Trisha Paytas on the floor of my
Yeah, with
kitchen.
The ring light, like reflection in the eyes.
So close to the
Hey
camera.
guys.
Intro
I
music.
hate to be here.
I'm so sorry.
Or you could have grabbed your ukulele.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Yeah.
ukulele.
The ukulele. What's it? What was her
Miranda
name?
Sings.
Miranda sings.
Miranda Sings, the lipstick queen.
Had a
Oh,
wonderful
my-
Netflix show, actually.
Really?
Wonderful Netflix show.
Never watched that.
Good
You're
show.
one of her victims.
Yeah.
She's
You
like,
guys Yeah.
Huge fan.
not her big.
I love her. We used to talk when I was 13. Weirdly.
Yeah.
No,
Oh, did
What
you?
happened?
crazy.
Did you?
No.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that was such a problem back in the day with like Twitter. I swear, I would always think I was
Yeah.
talking to the most famous people. I'm like, dude, I'm like friends with Shane Dawson. No, you're not, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Not.
Not-
You know what? You may
Definitely
need to
could be
be
now.
president.
He needs some friends.
Yeah.
It does.
He
It's
probably needs some
lonely.
support.
Speaking of cancer.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, this conversation has taken such a dark turn. We
Sure,
need you to run for president so children can stop getting on the internet. We need to protect them.
9/11.
Elijah
Frowny
Farmer.
9/11 sad question?
Sad? Sad exclamation point.
Sad exclamation.
Exclamation
Every
point.
words of a president.
Yes.
Straight up. Well, guys, I figure we should end on a 9/11 note, but what else do you guys want to promote? Do you have any shows coming up? What
Does everyone know when the single is actually coming out?
The single's
Right.
coming November 3rd,
November 3rd.
which is tomorrow. Which
Tomorrow, which is
tonight
at 12.
at 12 a.m.
It's in about 6 hours, so
Yeah.
be there, bud.
Be there. Or
Be there.
we do have the Denton radio station is playing it tonight at 9.
At
early.
9, so here in a couple hours.
Exclusive. Yeah, so catch that.
88.
And then what?
88.1.
88.
And then generally there's some more material coming out.
Yeah.
Sort of TBD, but definitely kind of Q1 2024 is
Yeah.
kind of the goal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe another single, maybe maybe oops.
Maybe an EP in summer.
Yeah.
Oh,
No,
Oh.
It's and then
it's really anyone's guess.
and also
Yeah.
thank you to Eric Herbst at Panhandle House for
For mixing.
mixing it and
Amen,
mastering
brother.
it. And thank you to Bob Parr at Savannah Street Studios for letting
Bob
us
Parr.
track bass in his
Amen.
space.
Yes, thank you, Mr.
Amen.
Bob Paul and Eric.
Love to
Yeah,
hear
and
it.
follow our Instagram account, Maude Hoff. That's where we be communicating the most.
We be.
It's Maude_Hoff, but the Alex, I'm gonna spell it because people have trouble.
Okay, do it.
It's MAUDE_H0 because we're fucking edgy
Oh.
and FF.
We're looking to
Oh,
change.
Yeah,
dang.
we're
It's good. We're gonna change it to
We're gonna
9/11
change it.
frown.
Yeah.
yeah, most
Yeah.
likely.
Mod Hoff.
New Instagram handle.
Yeah.
New,
So
new EP
And
title.
your new, like, when you go on stage now, you have to bring a ukulele and have an apology right
yeah,
before
Yeah.
set.
Hey, guys.
So-
Well, you have the mustache now, so that'll be your job.
yeah, that's actually
That'll be
your-
your.
I'm
That's
making a cameo.
yeah.
When's the next show? I'll make a cameo. I can do my
Right
best
now.
Christmas crew.
So-
I'm so sorry about 9/11.
He's an actor.
Dude,
He's an actor.
there it is.
Hey guys, well, thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Go check out their single today because this is going out the day it drops.
Oh, hell
So
yeah.
So
go stream
pumped.
that shit. Go support the homies. Thanks so much. We'll see you later.